Easy guys, Dom here from CDG. So in this video we're going to be talking about ammo conservation in the game Cronos: The New Dawn. Like many survival horror games, conserving your ammunition so you've got enough for later stages of the game is pretty much the key to success, and I often see a very similar pattern on a lot of comments on my videos that I've made on various different survival horror games, where people are saying, well, I just don't have enough ammo to do this, what do I do? Well, in this video we're going to be covering off a few tips and ways that you can save ammunition within this particular game. So the first tip might sound pretty straightforward, and it's one that I used to use a lot, especially from those early days of playing Resident Evil games, and that's avoid unnecessary combat. Believe it or not, you don't have to actually engage with every single enemy you come across. You don't have to shoot everything. This isn't a game where you need to destroy everything you come across. You can just literally run past a lot of enemies and then go through a door into the next area, as an example. Or use a time oddity to be able to use rocks to lift you up out of the way, as an example, which was one way where I avoided a fight with 4 enemies. Now, if I'd have fought with those 4 enemies, I would have used an awful lot of ammunition, and then I would have less later on in the game. So try and avoid unnecessary combat. That will definitely save you guys some ammunition. Make use of environmental hazards such as the red explosive canisters and the fuel cans that you will often find, and the oil barrels. These are all things that can be shot and they explode. These things will do devastating damage to a lot of the enemies, especially the red gas canisters, and you will find there's sections of the game that actually have a lot of enemies spawning in all at once, but if you actually, I guess, kind of move around the area right and kind of get the enemies so you're baiting them to come a specific way, you can often use these red explosive cans to be able to kill multiple enemies at once. And then a lot of these enemies, once they are dead, will drop ammunition as well, so make sure that you are picking up that ammunition while using the environmental hazards to your advantage. So crafting your own ammunition, this is something that is taught at the start of the game but can be forgotten about as you start playing through the game. Don't forget you can press and hold the directional pad to automatically craft the corresponding ammo type to which weapon you have in that specific slot on the directional pad of the controller, as an example. So for me, it's up on the directional pad to craft handgun ammo and then right to craft shotgun ammo, but you will have to have the right amount of chemicals and metal scraps to do that. So make sure that you're not missing out on the opportunity to not only pick up those crafting items as you are exploring the world, but also buying them from the workstation when you are at the hub, which is like your safe area where you can save the game. So another important thing here is you might go to that workstation to purchase something and not have enough inventory space and actually just miss the opportunity to buy all of the ammunition that's there. But what you want to get into is the habit of actually storing excess ammo and meds in your storage box and then buying all those items you can from the workstation. This will often increase the amount of ammunition that you have available to you. Maybe not on your person, but in your stash available for later use. But upgrading your overall inventory space by using cores to upgrade your suit is also the clever play here, because that means then you're going to be able to carry more items and also collect more items as you're exploring. Now, if you don't have enough energy to be able to purchase things from that workstation, then make sure you are working towards finding valuable items that are often hidden away in the darkest corners of the map. And this can be things like cameras and heaters, as an example, which can usually sell for an awful lot of energy at the workstation. So make sure that you are exploring thoroughly. Also, the cats that you will come across. If you pet these cats, you will often be gifted with some useful items. Sometimes you will find that you will get a key that will unlock one of these sealed rooms. That will also contain some useful items and sometimes additional ammunition, which again is going to go into your overall stock. Now once you are in combat, yes, you are going to start burning through some ammunition, but there are ways to maximise the usage of this, and one of those is to use the charged shots. Again, something that a lot of people have forgotten about as they start playing through the game. Holding down on the fire button before then releasing it once it is charged is only going to use one shot from your gun, but will actually do extra damage, and this is how you do devastating damage. One of my viewers commented on my boss video saying he's not doing as much damage to the enemy, he doesn't understand why. Well, that's probably because he's not using charged shots, but also aiming for the weak spots on enemies. The head is an example. Another thing you can do is shoot them in the leg. A trick that I learned from playing the Dead Space games is by shooting enemies in legs, you will often knock them down. Obviously in this game you cannot pick the limbs up and throw them at them with stasis like you could in Dead Space, but in this game you can still use the good old trusty stomp, and it will do additional damage, although not that much, but sometimes a stomp or two on an enemy that is downed would be a round or two saved from your gun, and that is also a good way to be able to sometimes conserve ammunition. It's not going to work in every scenario, but if you are coming up on a one-on-one attack from just one monster, then shooting it a couple of times in the kneecap or the foot can sometimes save you ammunition, because you can finish them off by stomping on them. And I guess the final tip really at this point is don't be afraid to load a previous save, even a few saves back. Yes, you might have to play through half an hour of the game again, maybe even an hour, but that could be the difference between you picking up ammo you might have missed or conserving ammo on that next section of the game where you maybe burnt through too much. So if you've gone through a section of the game where you feel like you've used too much ammunition and then you're at a point where you don't have enough to progress, just load up an earlier save and then just continue from there, and then just try and find ways to conserve ammo, maybe using a few of these tips that I've shared with you in this video. So hopefully there's been a few things that we've discussed in this video that are going to help you in your further adventures in the world of Cronos: The New Dawn. If these tips have helped, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on another video. Thanks for watching.